Magnets. Magnets and body posts. This is how I do my body post on some of my cars. For instead of drilling through it and making it look not scale, I use these magnets. I use these rare earth ring magnets. What's nice with them is they basically auto center every time, and I got these at Lee Valley Variety. These are the C magnet, which are the 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/8. Now, when I did this, I actually cut my body post down until I had the perfect height on front and back. So what I did is I actually placed the magnets onto, and this one, basically because I wanted it so close, I placed the magnet on there and I shorten it, and I shorten it, and I shorten it, and I shorten it until I got the perfect height. At the back, these were actually turned the other way because originally the body post actually comes out of here, but I don't want them there, and I did not want it up here either because I might do an interior on here. So I wanted them to be at the back. So I flipped them around backward, and these will be glued on straight so that they stay on straight. And because they were flipped backward, this is the part where you usually put where the screw is. These are loose a little bit, so they do go back. But once I have the perfect height where I'm going to have them, I'm going to put some shoe glue here. And the shoe glue is going to stop it from tilting back or moving. So that's because I got creative at the back, because I had to do a mounting system a little bit different. And here also, this body post was pretty long, and I had to cut it down until I got the perfect height. And when I test for my perfect height, I put both magnets on there. So once I'm ready, I'll be putting a piece of plastic in between them, or Scotch tape, just to make it a little easier to come apart. Oh, it was magic. It just jumped on me. These are very hard to come out, but if you slide them, they come out easy. But try to pull them apart or straight, it's hard. So some people actually leave the body post long enough to go through 2 of them, but I don't like doing that because if I take the body post, if I push it hard enough sideways while pulling up, it's a little easier to come up. And that's how I like taking it off. And like I was mentioning, these auto center, so when you put them on the body, automatically they go in the center. So there we go. I put a blob of shoe glue, and I put a piece of tape on that side. So then I just have to pop that into the shoe glue. Let me get my other one for the other side. And I put the tape on top of it just to stop it from squirting out and coming on top of the magnet for now. Mind you, there's a lot of different ways you could do this, but this is the way I do it to make sure. And when you take the magnet off of there, I've actually identified on both sides, this side and this side, I put a line on with a marker just to identify that those go down and up. So make sure I don't put the sticky glue onto the other side. And then I did put a piece of tape on this side, so then later I will be putting it on top of each other, and it's going to be tape on tape. And I might put a piece of paper in between them. Just makes it a little easier when you center and when you're going to pull the body off. So because you do have to put some shoe glue, which we'll cover in a little later. So right now, let's do the front one. And while it's drying, a good thing that's good because shoe glue is soft is to actually turn it upside down to make sure that the glue actually doesn't, the gravity actually pulls it down. So I wanted the glue to go all the way back up. So let's flip this guy around and wait a little bit for the glue to set, and we'll do the front. There we go. I glued the 4 earth magnet that are on the bottom. And I put tape, actually 3 rows of tape for now. I'm going to let this dry overnight. And tomorrow I'll check if the glue is actually set. One way you can basically check is if you come under and you just push onto the shoe glue, you see if it's moving or not. So this is not set. And tomorrow, once this one is set, I might put more around the magnet just to make sure it does not come off, because there's a lot of pull on these magnets. So you don't want them to come off. Now there's probably a half a dozen different ways to do this. This is the way I do it. You guys are open to do it any way you want. Okay, the bottom one is very well glued onto there. So I'm going to leave that on there, but the glue had time to dry for at least 24 hours. But just for now, I'm going to keep that there. And what I've done is I've actually taken a piece of paper, it's actually a receipt, and I folded it about 4 times, and just to put it on there. So it makes it a little bit easier to pull off. The reason I'm doing this, and that's what I like about these magnets, is that because they're centered, they're hollow, they center on every time. Even if you're not looking, it's just going to find its own way. But the reason I'm putting the paper is so it's a little bit easier to pull off. Because if test it yourself, because if you don't put a spacer, it's going to be very, very hard to pull off. And for now, I do not want it to be hard to pull off, because I am going to reinforce this once it's glued onto the body. But because you have to align the body at the proper place, I'm just going to put a little bit of shoe glue on it, and then put the body on it as close as I can and make sure it's aligned right. And then I'm going to let it dry overnight. Once it's dry, I have to pull this off, turn it around, and then put more glue around it. So you'll see and understand why I'm putting the piece of paper. I just want to make sure that I pull it off of the other magnet and it's not hard to do. And because I'm not going to put a lot of shoe glue right now, but I will later. You'll all understand. So I put 4 blobs of glue, of shoe glue, and I'm going to put the body on it. For this, I need my 2 hands. There we go. I put the body on it, pretty much centered everywhere. So now I got to wait another 12 hours or 24 hours. Well, probably 12 hours. I'll go to bed tonight, and tomorrow I'll take it apart, and reinforce it. I'll show you guys how to do that. The paper that you see there are between the 2 magnets, so I'm just going to push on those because there is a little bit of shoe glue, but not a lot. So I want to make sure it doesn't come unglued. So I'm just going to push on, help it out, and get both of the front and back off, and then I can actually add some shoe glue onto the body. So I'm going to try to do this now that I have both hands. So I'm just pushing on both pieces of paper, just pushing up so that I can release the back magnets. And now the front one should also come out pretty easy. There we go. Now the magnets are there. Piece of paper should be able to come off. I can just, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some shoe glue and really mount these on good and actually build a little mound. Then we'll put a piece of tape on top of it and do that on all 4 corners. That's the way you position them. So let's put some shoe glue. So I take the shoe glue, and now I got to put some around it, around the magnet, just to make a ledge around it. But I got to make sure it touches the magnet. But myself, I'm trying to build like a bridge, not over the magnet, but just around it, so it actually hugs the magnet all the way around. Now it does stick over it, but that's okay. It will settle down, and I can use a skew stick, a skew for barbecues. And if you actually shorten it up a little bit, you can actually use that to help it spread it and lean it around, and just work it around the magnet. Even if you do stick on top of it, it's not that bad, because these earth magnets are very strong. So but I'm just trying to put some all the way around it so it actually hugs it and captures it. And once that's dry, another 12 hours or so, I'm going to do this for all 4 of them, a big gab around it, and all that should really help it to hold it in there. So once in a while, since it's drying, I'm going to be flipping it around to make sure that it does hug it. And you'll see, depending if it's hot where you are or cold, it will seize up pretty fast. So while all 4 are actually drying, I put a big glob around it so it actually hugs all the way around the magnet. And I'll be putting some tape, some clear tape. I use packing tape. That's what Chris Robinson uses from GCM Racing. I actually put a whole bunch of globs around here also, just to make sure that it actually goes all the way around the magnet, to make sure everything is going to be nice and strong, because there's a lot of pull on those magnets. So I put a lot of glue. So I'm about to do the same thing here at the back. You can see here there's no, oh sorry, you can see here there's barely any glue. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue around the magnet, but not on top. So to make it look the same thing as the front. There we go, it's all dried up. I usually put packing tape there, but since I had some clear Gorilla Tape, I decided to actually put some Gorilla Tape instead and just try it out. It is thicker than packing tape, which is good. So I've put 4 of them on there, and I got a little tiny piece there. What that's going to do is, because this is like soft, like a rubber, so it's going to act like a bumper. So when you put the 2 magnets together, it's going to stop them from banging on each other real hard, and hopefully stopping it from breaking the magnet. So let's put it on. So I did not try this after I've put the glue on and I made sure that everything was on there. I didn't try it to see if it was going to sit on there properly, but theoretically, when I just drop it on there, everything sits on there perfectly. Wheelbase is nice, and I can actually pick it up and shake it pretty hard, and it's no way it's coming off. There we go. Cheap way to do body mounts. Cool stuff. Well guys, it's done. Magnet body mounts are done, and they're working pretty good. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys, and we'll see you on the trails. Thanks for watching.